thought it would be helpful to film a video with all the parts and pieces for transvenous pacing, since we all do it very infrequently.
So we need 5 things to get started. First, everything is going to be in the top shelf of the Pyxis in room 5, and everything except for a cordis kit, which I think you need to get started. So Darcy has a rap about the rest.
So when you go to the top of the Pyxis and ask the nurse for the pacing supplies, this is what you should get.
So one, you're going to need the pacer box itself. And then the wire that attaches to the pacer box, and the other end actually attaches to the wire that goes into the patient.
Then you need I forget what this is called.
Sheath.
The sheath. And notice you should have the one that has 2 white ends.
This one was in the Pyxis, and it's the wrong sheath. It doesn't fit onto
So
our
blue
pacer.
bad. Blue is
It's got
bad.
a blue tip, it's bad.
2 whites, good.
And then you need the 5 French introducer. You can do it through a cordis, but I believe what the problem is that there can be some leakage around the cordis port. So it's probably not the best.
And this is there also.
And that's on the top shelf too.
This is the temporary pacing electrode catheter. So 5 things.
And of course the cordis kit. So the first step is just getting access, which pretty much everyone should know how to do. And your 2 best sites are usually the right IJ or the left subclavian. Someone was talking about doing it through a femoral, but to save the access points for cardiology, but I haven't seen anybody doing that.
So you need very little things in the cordis kit.
Seems like a waste, but it's probably the quickest way to get everything together.
And the cleaning supplies.
You'll need your knife, your thread,
And numbing medicine.
maybe the numbing medicine,
Yep.
and your introducer needle.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. And then-
Notice there's a sheath in here also. Yellow bad. Don't use this.
Don't use the yellow.
Okay.
And then this is the 5 French introducer kit. It comes in a kit like this, and doesn't come preloaded with the dilator, but it's basically like a cordis but smaller diameter. It comes with
A flimsy wire.
flimsy wire.
Arts and crafts.
All right, so everyone knows how to do this. So you find your vein, stick this in here. Wire's gonna go through
We thought this was cool because we don't usually do this.
through the needle. Don't leave the wire in the patient.
Don't leave the wire in the patient. Should we say it again? Don't leave the wire in the patient.
All right, so wire's in, make your cut. This goes through here like usual. All right, so then we're in, pull the wire, pull the dilator,
Now you have access.
and stitch this down.
Yes, suture now. And the suture is in the cordis kit back in the beginning.
Straight needle in the cordis kit.
And by the way, during all this time, you're assuming that the transcutaneous pacer is pacing.
Now, you can get rid of all this stuff. So at this point, someone's gonna have to set up the box. And there's a lot of settings on here once you turn it on.
Justin's gonna make this really easy.
I don't know how to use all the settings. This is the dummy button, so just hit the red button.
Red button is good in this particular case.
I mean, you'd think red would be bad, but that's... And then you just turn the atrium off, because we're not going to do anything with the atrium. So middle button goes to off. It's already set at 80. You can leave it at 25. And now it's asynchronous pacing. And then you need this wire, which goes into the V. There should be, see the V.
Because we're pacing the ventricle, not the atrium.
And that clicks in there. And this end of delivers electricity to the pacer electrode, and it's on screws here. So just make sure if they're out like this, then they're loose. And then you can tighten it onto the electrode that you need to. So then we get onto the pacer kit.
Okay. It too comes with lots of things. And all you need is the syringe, which is small so that you can only blow up the balloon 3 mLs. It's like it's dummy proof.
It hard stops at 1.5.
Oh, it hard stops at 1.5.
Yeah, you can't pull it past.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Why the heck did they make it 3 then?
I know.
Okay. And then the pacing wire, which has 2 black electrodes, and one says distal and negative, and the other has nothing attached to it. So these 2 yellow rabbit ear things can only go in one way. And you put one in each black thing.
This one's nice because it actually says negative. Some kits only say proximal and distal. If it says that, proximal goes positive.
So distal negative goes in the negative, which there's a negative sign, thank goodness.
And then it will fall out unless you
screw it in. I thought it was broken. Justin showed me how to work it.
Okay.
Good.
So that's untight. And then you want to attach your syringe.
Dummy proof syringe.
We'll fill it with air first.
Yeah, to the hard stop of 1.5.
Okay, and then check your balloon.
Okay. And it doesn't stay inflated unless you hold this down.
So your assistant's got to hold it down, or you can lock it here.
But don't blow it up yet, not till it's in the patient.
All right, so then we're ready to put it in the patient. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. If you're going subclavian, you probably want to go this way. And if you're going IJ, I think you keep the curve this way. So it's basically the same curve. But. So this goes in here. Now there's hash marks on here. You see the first one is actually 2 hash marks. Each hash mark equals 10 centimeters. So the 2 is 20. So, and that's important because when you get in here and you get to 20, now you see when I'm at 20, we're past the catheter itself. So now we can inflate the balloon.
So if you inflated it before, you're going to break the balloon or it won't work because it'll be in the inside the introducer part.
So now we're live. We got electricity going into this. It's set at 80. So we're just going to thread this through.
With the balloon up.
Balloon up, floating it in.
Either stop coughed off or having an assistant hold it.
Until you get to the right ventricle. And then you should start seeing on the monitor that your heart rate is 80. Now, some people are bigger than others. If you get to 40's 4 hash marks, 50 is actually like a big hash mark, just one thick line. If you get to 50, you should be there, or you're in the wrong place. So stop at 50, and at this point, you should be seeing 80 on your monitor. And we forgot to do one thing.
Well, don't we do it at the end anyway?
We didn't put the sheath on.
I thought you put it on after.
No.
Okay.
So at this point, let's go back. Let's see. Deflate.
You put the sheath on before.
Right.
Ah, okay.
So remember.
Put your socks on before you put the shoes on.
You got to put the sheath on before you put this wire into the patient. So again, the wire goes into the sheath, and it'll come. We were playing with this one, so it's elongated.
Bad nylons.
But if you work it through. It's quite hard actually when it's.
Only one hole.
Okay.
There we go.
So then it goes through here. All right. So now when you just pull this all the way back, so it's out of your way.
It's just to keep it sterile.
And then
So technically, if you forgot to put it on, it's not the end of the world, but
it's not the end of the world.
for
but
sterile
it'd be nice.
purposes, it's ideal to do this.
So again, you put this through until you reach the 2 hash marks.
Blow up the balloon.
Inflate the balloon. pass it through.
Wait till
Look
you're
for
facing
80. If you get to 50 and you're not pacing, then something's wrong. And then you can lock your sheath onto the catheter. It just slides on like this. It fits. There's a little notch to fit the.
It's pretty flimsy.
And some of these kits have a lock. Ours doesn't seem to have any lock where you can lock your catheter in place. So it's possible to pull this. So just be aware of that.
So have your assistant hold it and pray for the cardiologist to show up.
So they should be here by now and you're done.
Alright, that's
Well,
it.
at that point though, the one other thing you can do is adjust the settings on this. So like we're really at a high voltage or high output right now. You can back this down. I have to see when I just did that, it didn't do anything. You have to hit lock before you do anything. Then you can back it down. And just keep backing it down till you see the pacing stop. And then once the pacing stops, just double whatever voltage you're at. So if it stops at 2,
Go to 4.
go to 4 or 6, you know,
Okay.
somewhere around there. And then you should be done.
That's a
All right.
wrap.